Hey, so I'd like to get into a little bit more with Rudolf Steiner and Anthroposophy first before I start making references. So we have a little bit of a groundwork. Um, Rudolf Steiner was born in the late 1800s, and he founded this um, Anthroposophy for the 1920s. So it was very early in the 1900s. And when I reference to Akira Toriyama's work, Dragon Ball Z, um, or Christopher Nolan with the Batman trilogies, um, I'm not saying that in any way that they're even aware or that they are making direct references to anthroposophy while making these movies. I'm just noticing as I explore this information um, that it lines up really well. And Rudolf Steiner was really a philosopher. He was also seeked ways to culture wisdom within society, ways of living, ways of insights, and he was considered very much in um, esoteric knowledge, but he really seeked in a what he would consider in a scientific type of approach. Um, and I want to make more, maybe at some point make videos more particularly with visuals and, having more editing. But for now, I'm just kind of speaking my mind and seeing what maybe you'd like me to emphasize with. Um, there are four main points or topics that I'd like to analyze these shows. And even, it's not even just, Batman or Dragon Ball Z. Even in the main series, which is, I think, done in a much more grander scale, but we see the Avenger movies. You know, the first Avengers with Loki uh, has a very strong, I could see, Luciferian uh, basis or reference or impulse, and the rituals, and or there are types of rituals and things that is done that represents that, which I'll get into more at some point as well. Also, at the Age of Ultron, that's very Aramon based, which again, they do it much more elaborate, as they are multiple movies that are kind of umbrellaed, or um, kind of like they fit into um, there's a lot of movies that add up to those different impulses, so it's a lot more elaborate. And so I would start off with the Batman series, or other series that you might like, trilogies that you'd like me to go into. And this is even in certain video games. I noticed this with trilogies, the Ninja Gaiden trilogy. Then you have, you know, there's a lot of references that seem to follow these narratives throughout our culture. And again, I'm not saying that this is intentional, but perhaps there is a fundamental reason, that there is a core um, theme that they follow these, even with the end game and Infinity War, that's more, I see more references to the Christ impulse. And so, as mentioning in these different trilogies, they're not done in any particular order. And again, Dragon Ball Z, particularly in the new series Daima, and maybe I could start with just that one first, because I do see that throughout all of the different movies and different aspects or references are done multiple times, like Aramon with the Christian Bale or the Batman with Bane. There's this concept of Christian Bale getting older and losing all of his work that he's done, and this regression that he goes through. This is the kind of a reference to the fourth, or the direct opposition to the Christ impulse of evolution, is de-evolution, as I mentioned in my previous video. And this is something that we kind of go through as we naturally into old age, as we lose the things that we have built up. And there are ways to navigate that properly, and you can still rise through that and not be defeated by the regression. And Dragon Ball Daima really, again, tackles that. The Batman movie with Bane kind of mixes the two in a way together, but they don't really specify the theme or orient the movie around that theme the same way. And I think Batman, written by Frank Miller, The Dark Knight, when Batman's much older and he comes out of retirement, might be that type of theme that he's that would reference the overcoming of that fourth, or the direct opposition. Whereas Lucifer and Aramon, these are polar extremes of like a shoe horse, where you need the Christ impulse to navigate through these other impulses, these different sides of the spectrum. So I'm going to go into more about these topics, and I'd like to just kind of talk about it for now, see what might interest you further, how to go about this. I'm just going to do some live references for the time being until I can figure out how to set up different editing programs where I can reference to the movies or games or whatever they might be in particular, and go from there. So again, if this interests you and you would like to explore this information with me, hit a like, subscribe, leave some comments below, and we'll explore this together.